And then in 67, there was another exodus of refugees. Let me finish. The point is this: the Palestinians themselves, forget the Arabs. The Palestinians themselves refused to leave Gaza, refused to leave the West Bank because they don't want a third exodus. Because if they vacate the land's empty and it's not easy for the Israelis, the right-wing Israelis, not all of them, the right-wing Israelis, remember I pictured 2,000 Israelis and 2,000 Palestinians, those right-wing Israelis would move in because it's already occupied. They would literally move in more and take the land, and they will still stay as refugees.
Can I ask a question? How did Palestine got its name? No. Let me ask again. We claim it to be a city and a country. It was given as an insult. That's why 90% of Palestinians are refugees. Gaza, where it was, is Canaan, was given as a promised land to Abraham, Isaac, to Israel. Not Israel was before time. So let me finish what I'm saying. The reason why Arabs don't mingle in the dirt, because Arab wealth do not unless they're integrated. So Islam is controlled by Saudi. Every book from the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, my friend. So Saudi Arabia, the kingdom, controls Islam. So all the poor that is in the region, they will not adhere to it because it doesn't reflect who they are as people of the kingdom. But Palestine itself, my friend, if you look at the map of the world, there was no Palestine, it was called Palestina. So how you have it as, I don't know. We can go more, my brother, but you're not going, if I can go with the hard facts.
Let's go with the hard facts.
Don't get emotional with the old stuff. We have to go for where it's come from. Because Israel is this small on the map, but you guys can't get rid of it. And it's for a reason, my friend. Israel is a nation that was one of the most blessed nations by God. It was touched, protected by God, and that's for a reason, my friend. And this is where you need to go biblical, not political, because the whole God is political.
Just so everyone knows.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm going from that's where we need to start from. Because if the country doesn't exist as a state, and because of the emperor,
And they also deserve to be integrated into the state of Israel.
No, but the question they need to ask themselves: why is it the bloodshed? And look, Israel is this small on the world map, and they've been trying from the beginning of time to get rid of Israel, and it still can't work for a reason. They don't want to know the reason. Every child in Gaza was brought up to believe Israel are terrorists, and the reason why that's what they teach them. So the bitterness is sown from the younger generation.
I want to respond to a little bit. I want to respond exactly. I want to respond to a little bit of what Idris said. What we've done is you painted a very, I would say, a very religious picture, given a good summary of some of the kind of geopolitical elements that are going into why
It's get emotional. Because all they see is Hamas, the savior, and Palestine.
the question I asked you isn't necessarily why do they feel a strong connection or motivation to stay, but the question I asked is the entire Islamic, Arab, Middle Eastern, Semitic world have the financial power to do exactly what Germany, Sweden, Denmark, and a lot of the Western European nations and Central European nations did by assimilating, not creating refugee camps, but actually assimilating and giving people homes, giving people the ability to go to school, get jobs, and changing the entire generation of millions of refugees. There are no refugee camps in Europe. There are no refugee camps in Germany, Sweden. There's not a single refugee camp in any of these areas. Because what has happened is that the nations that allowed Middle Eastern refugees to come, they brought them and integrated them into their society. Why are the Arab world not willing to allow millions or hundreds of thousands per country to fully integrate, not to just put them in a refugee camp where they're experiencing oppression, but give them actual liberty and a future, and they have liquid gold. The amount of money, the amount of wealth that is under the direct control of these Arab gazillionaires today, they have the ability to give, they have the ability to literally empower the entire Palestinian people. But what you're saying to me today is that them fighting for a state or them fighting for liberty in a place where people don't want them to be is better than the entire Arab world just saying, come, we will give you a home, we will give you freedom, you are our Muslim brothers, you are our Muslim sisters, we're gonna free Palestine. We don't have to go into Israel and fight to free it. The Arab can sign a blank check. The Arab gazillionaire oil barons can sign a blank check and change the situation in a moment.
I think that's the fallacy.
That's what I'm saying.
The difference,
and you haven't answered that question. Sorry, you can run you as well.
No, the difference.
You haven't answered the question.
The difference is this.
You've not answered that. All you've told me today is they're fighting over land.
Oh my gosh.
You haven't told me why there's on land.
Sam, I beg of you. Okay.
I'm sorry I'm getting passionate. I have to say that. Oh, yeah, short time.
Those refugees, that's all right. Those refugees taken into Germany and Denmark and Sweden and the UK
fully integrated.
Are from where?
Fully integrated.
Where are they from?
Tell me.
You must know.
Afghanistan, Syria.
Majority is Syria. With all of those hundreds of thousands and millions of refugees, of Syrians, of Afghans that went into Europe, does Syria still exist and does it still contain Syrians? Yes or no? Yes.
But how many?
Let me finish. Does Afghanistan still exist and there's still Afghans in Afghanistan?
Yes, because they have tens of millions.
Let me finish.
There's only 7 million Palestinians.
Let me finish.
It's a small nation.
I'll reiterate. Now, when I said
you can't integrate an entire country into Europe.
Let me finish.
I have to respond to that. I'm sorry.
Are Syrians still in Syria and does Syria still exist?
Of course.
Even though some of the Syrians went into Europe as refugees, yes.
Yes, because of the population size.
Don't stop.
That is the reason.
Sam, this is stop it.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking. I'm not going to say another word.
Has the same occurred with the Afghan? Are the Afghanistan still exist?
Yes, of course.
The difference being with the Palestinians is this. To the Roman Empire. If the Arabs say, come in, marhaba, you're welcome.
Amen.
Let's sit down and eat hummus and shawarma together. Right. If they said that, there would be no Palestinians left in Gaza and the West Bank.
Good.
That's what we wanted.
Good.
Now this is a different conversation.
They're liberated. They have a future.
All right, there we go.
They have a future.
Okay. Elaborate and I'll come back. Good. Carry on.
Why would you want Palestinians to remain in land where they're being oppressed? They don't have liberty. They don't have a future. They don't have education. They don't have actual freedom that we all value. That's the reason we're all here today. It's better they go to a country where they have a future. Would they rather live in that society, or would they rather go to a place where they can say, you're my Arab brother, we're one, we're Muslim, we pray together, we worship God together, we educate. There's no hatred. There's no hatred amongst each other. There's no reason why the Palestinians should continue to be martyrs for the sake of validating the Middle East's thirst for blood against the Israelites.
No problem. No problem. It's not right.
It's not right.
No problem.
Go on, you go, bro.
With the unfortunate and disgusting occurrence of the Holocaust and the pogroms in Europe for centuries, why didn't the Jews say, let's go to Patagonia instead?
Because
Let me finish. We will not have the Palestinians and the Arabs oppose us. The Argentinians will barbecue some lovely Argentinian beef, kosher of course, and we can eat it over a table. Why did the Jewish people at the time say, why don't we go to Uganda as another, these are real tangible propositions by the way. Why don't we go to Uganda? Let me finish. And eat and enjoy peace, where the Arabs and the Palestinians are not doing what they're doing to us. Do you know why? The Jewish people said, we believe our land is in Palestine, i.e. Israel.
Because it is there.
Let me finish.
And Jews never.
As the Palestinians themselves believe, this is our land. So as the Palestinians believe it's their land, and they've got a right to live in their land, and they've got a right to oppose occupation, just as the Jewish people from their perspective thought, no thank you Patagonia, no thank you Uganda, we're going to go through hell and back, and we're going to go to Israel because we believe it's our land. Same thing.
Okay, then why?
Same thing.
Let me respond to that. Why in 1948, when both parties were given land, money and resources, the Arab states said we don't want the Jews to have a land, and they fought and lost territory? If you're saying it's just they have the 40 acres and the mule, they're both happy. Why at the very beginning, the inception of Israel as a nation?
It's a different point.
No. It's an important point. It's an important point.
You're diverting.
No, I'm not. I'm answering your question directly.
No, you're diverting.
No, stop. You're interrupting me now. You interrupted me. Why at the very...
You're diverting.
You're interrupting me, bro.
You're diverting.
Why at the very beginning of the conversation of what you... So the main point you just made was why did the Palestinians... Why did the Jews go, look, the League of Nations said, okay, look, Palestinians, Jews...
The who?
The League of Nations.
The League of Nations.
Listen carefully. The people who mediated the deal. They said, Palestinians...
Mediated?
All right, come on, man. Let me make my point. They did. They're the ones who had control of the land and they gave it to the Jews.
Who?
The League of Nations.
No, Palestine. The British mandate of Palestine. Palestine was colonized by whom? The British.
It was given to the British by the League of Nations.
Okay,
it was given to the British.
And who are the League of Nations?
Europe.
Who are the League of Nations? Who are the League of Nations? Okay, let's go.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not cutting me off. I'm going to finish my point. You're cutting me off. My point is this. Why at the very beginning, when they were given land, the Palestinians were given money, land, resources and liberty, and so were the Israelis. They drew a line and said, okay, Israelis, you go here, Palestinians, you go here. Why did the Palestinians at the very beginning, along with the allied Arab nations, say we don't want Israel to have a land? They fought at the very beginning.
Okay, number one.
What's your question? It was a rhetorical question. What I'm saying is,
which means this is
from
the
the very beginning, it's my time to talk. From the very beginning of the inception of this state, the Arab nation decided to make a choice to fight for something they didn't fight for because they already had the land. So they triggered this initial conflict. That is an important point. So you saying
trigger the conflict.
So you saying that the Palestinians are indigenous and they deserve land? Fantastic, give it to them. They were given it and they didn't want it. They ended up trying to take over the entire thing. So what I'm saying is this. As I said before, the entire Arab world have the power to bring these people and liberate and free them and give them a future. And you're saying they should continue fighting perpetually for a piece of land that people don't even want them to be there. Just give the state to Israel and Arabs empower the Palestinians. They can easily rehouse 5 million people. And I can guarantee you one thing, I can guarantee you this. In 40 years, when you have Arab scholars, Arab university, Palestinian scholars, Palestinian university graduates, weddings, how do you say wedding in Arabic? No, I want to know. You have weddings between liberated Palestinians living in Jordan and living in Saudi Arabia and going to university.
Enough of Disney.
They're going to say.
Enough of Disney.
No, let me finish.
This is reality.
It is reality and it can happen.
Come on.
It can happen.
Fairy tale utopian nonsense.
No, it's not a fairy tale.
You've made your point.
No, you haven't. You haven't let me finish.
You made your point.
You haven't let me finish. Let me just finish in 20 seconds. When these people are living in a new Palestinian reality, they're not going to want to go back to Israel. They're not going to want to go live behind the border. They're going to enjoy the liberty that they have. And you say it's a fairy tale. Let me tell you something. 150 years ago, if you went to Jerusalem, it was a barren wasteland. There was nothing there. You go to Tel Aviv, it was barren. Yet today there's a thriving community, so anything can happen. Why can that not?
What was a barren wasteland? Sorry.
Tel Aviv, the entire land of Israel.
The entire land of Israel.
I'll get a drink there. Except Jerusalem. What I'm saying is, there's no reason why that cannot be the future of the Palestinians who then move to the Arab states. They'll enjoy liberty. You're saying they should continue to fight for something that they don't even need to have.
Liberty and freedom. Okay.
Absolute liberty.
I say this.
The same way the Swedish Middle Eastern people have liberty today.
I say this. What people and what nation would be forcibly removed from their land and will be given the opportunity to eat hummus and shawarma and call that freedom and liberty? What man or woman would take that? What man or woman, let me finish, what man or woman would take their dispossession of their land into another land where, yes, they will be given security. Why, yes, they would be given healthcare. Why, yes, they would be given freedom of movement. But do you really call that man a man? Do you really call that woman a woman?
It's called immigration.
Let me finish.
All the time.
Do you really call that child a child? No. The Palestinians are saying that course of action is a total utter surrender and a cop-out to their claim to their land. That's number one. That's why I call it airy fairy Disney, because that's what it is. Let's call it out for what it is. Number two, what you're proposing is the evacuation of the entire population of the occupied territories of Palestine, namely Gaza and the West Bank, so the Israelis can inherit that land.
Absolutely.
That is a war crime.
What are you
That is
talking about?
a war crime.
No one's dying.
Let me finish.
They're walking.
Let me finish.
How is that a war crime?
Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
It's a war crime for the Middle East to take in.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Go on,
You're going to be surprised.
I'm sorry.
You're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised.
I'm enjoying the fraternity in this conversation.
Tighten your belt, because
Let's go.
What you're proposing is ridiculous.
No, it's not.
What we should have done is, you know what? We're in London, are we not? Guess what? We're in the Blitz. The Nazi Air Force is bombing us left, right and centre.
What channel is this?
The Nazis have got a naval blockade using their submarines, using torpedoes to knock down, to sink all the ships that are coming from the United States and Canada to give us aid. It's a very difficult time. But you know what? As some said, as Lord Halifax said to Churchill, for example, fact, do you know what? Let's seek peace with Hitler. And I'm not equating them to Nazis, by the way. I'm just using this as an example in terms of a state of war. Let's appease Hitler. And you know what? All British, this is Churchill by the Parliament. British people, you know what we're going to do? We're going to emigrate to our cousins across the pond in Canada. Let's just go and give it to the Germans. Disneyland! Disneyland! You are in Hollywood, my friend. Seriously, let me finish. Why did the Palestinians not accept the creation of the State of Israel in 1948? From what I know, from what I've been told by Palestinians, number one, and I'm sure I think you know this, number one, Jerusalem would have been an international zone, controlled neither by the Palestinians nor the Israelis, but by, at the time, the proposition by the League of Nations. Jerusalem would have been an international zone, not controlled neither by the Israelis, neither by the Palestinians.
But the Israelis accepted that.
Let me finish. But they had the plan in mind.
But they accepted it.
Hold on, they had the plan in mind. No, read into it, my friend. They had the plan in mind. The Palestinians said, we are unable to put pen to paper to give up the control of Jerusalem to an international panel. It's not going to happen. Let alone the land that they lived on, which is called the Nakba, the catastrophe. Okay. So my friend, feet on the ground. Hollywood's 2,000 miles away. Let's talk reality now.
Yeah, and in reality,
go ahead.
And in reality, all of the Syrian refugees in Europe today, in Germany, Sweden.
I answered that.
No,
Stop repeating yourself, please.
I'm making sure that people follow the point. In reality, all the Syrian and Afghanistani refugees that live in Europe today are thriving. They're living well. Okay, yes, I agree with what you said in the sense that a mass exodus in your perspective or from your view is unacceptable. But the truth is, I've said before, the liberation of Palestine can happen in two ways. A state can be made there, or the Arab world can assimilate these people into their territories and give them food. You're saying that the second option is not even on the table, and that's because you have become invested in the suffering of the situation. An objective look at this. You have a nation of people impoverished, oppressed, abused, spat on, treated like absolute trash, who are screaming. I don't care if they can hear me. If you're screaming, who are screaming for liberation. Okay? And then you have people sitting here with liquid gold who have the ability to do it like this, and you're saying they should say no, let them keep fighting, let them keep suffering, because it's better that they're there than the future that is literally achievable. It's just there. All it takes is just like several nations to say, hey, look, let's rehouse these people, and if they can't rehouse all of them, then some more Middle Eastern, some more nations on earth will say, we'll take 100,000, we'll take 500,000, we'll give them a future, we'll actually enable them to have freedom. I don't see, and there's no virtue in their suffering. They don't need to be there. They don't need to remain in a place where they're being abused.
Making the same point against that.
Because it needs to be said.
It needs
because
to be,
your idea is battle warfare, them experiencing suffering, it's better for them to be
I want to make something clear.
marginalized in this.
I want to make something clear, by the way.
And you're calling my solution, which is a real solution, Disney Dreamland.
I tell you why.
It's a real solution.
I tell you why.
You're saying
I tell you why.
perpetually. More children die, more women die.
I tell you why. I tell you why. By your logic, with all the suffering that Israeli people have received since the creation of Israel, by your logic, then why don't the Israelis emigrate? Why don't the Arabs write a blank check? Here you go, Mr. Israeli. Go to California, we'll pay for you.
No, do you know what?
In perpetuity, we'll give you free healthcare, as much shawarma and hummus as you like. It doesn't make sense. It's illogical.
No, it's not illogical.
Let me finish. What you want is the complete and utter surrender of the Palestinians to give up their claim to their land and to vacate the land.
They were given land.
That's what you're saying.
They were given
That's
the
what you're saying.
They didn't want it.
This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. When the British were in Africa, and they did what they did to them.
No, you're not making that point.
Let me finish.
No, you're not.
Don't be scared.
No, you're not.
Don't be scared.
Do you know why you're not making that point?
Don't be scared.
You're making a false equivocation.
Don't be scared.
You're making a false
Don't be
equivocation.
scared. Calm down, sir. Calm down, sir. Calm down.
You're not making that point.
Calm down.
You're not making a false equivocation.
Let me finish.
This is not colonization in the classical sense.
Let me finish.
No, it's not.
No, Sam, you can't shut me up.
I am.
Oh my gosh.
I am.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
not making this.
Oh my
This is a false narrative.
Sam, calm down.
This is a false narrative, my friend. Make your point. You're trying to compare
Let me finish.
Jews who have been there
Be
since
a man.
4,000 years ago
Do you want to talk religion?
to English going to Africa and they weren't even
Do you
there.
want to talk religion?
What are you talking about?
Religion.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking from a religious
What are you
perspective.
talking about?
Finish.
This is not colonization. You cannot even compare it to that.
Let me
But go on,
finish.
you speak. Me and him are cool.
France in 1830 entered Algeria. They were there. Let me finish. They were there from 1830 up until roughly 1962. The 60s, the early to the mid 60s. Okay. The French were so invested in Algeria. Not only did they have people colonize the land, i.e. French, go into Algeria, the French incorporated Algeria into France as a province, as Algeria proper. Like we say Kent, Suffolk, Yorkshire, the French said Algeria, Provence, Bordeaux, Calais, Dieppe. Same. They incorporated it fully into the French state. Okay.
This is not a comparable situation.
Okay. What do you mean?
They were both given land.
What do you mean?
Two nations were given land.
What was your point?
You tried to make an equivocation. No, wait.
What was your point?
I'm going to speak quickly for
your point was this. No.
I'm going to talk.
No.
I'm going to speak for 30 seconds. And then you
My point is my point of the point is you're diverting.
No, I'm not diverting.
Yes, you are. Let me finish.
I'm trying to make a point
Let me finish. During the struggle of the liberation of Algeria, opposing the French colonization, it's estimated up to a minimum of 1 million Algerians died in that process from the mid-50s to the mid-60s in a span of 10 decades. That equates to 100,000 Algerians died per year for their liberation of their land. If we take the logical understanding of Brother Sam here, with the suffering of those Algerians, 100,000. Let me finish. 100,000 per year. Do you know what should have happened? The Algerians, because of their trauma and 100,000 dying per year, the Algerians said, do you know what? Let's go to Egypt.
That's not what
Let's go to Sweden.
That is not what I'm saying.
Let me finish.
This is the issue.
Let's go to Zimbabwe. Let's go to Speaker's Corner. Because this is where we can attain peace and security.
I'm sorry, Idris, but
your logic is a fallacy in Disneyland, my friend. No, sorry, not Disney. Not Disney. Marvel. This is a Marvel movie.
Okay, cool.
It's a Marvel movie.
Cool. Okay, come back. You have actually moved into a completely false narrative. That's what you've done. All you've done is try and validate and get people riled up with your position. Number one, I don't support what happened in Algeria. Okay?
I don't think you did.
No, but you're kind of making a false equivocation here.
No, I'm not.
Second, here's the difference. Okay, let me prove it. You spot. Here's the point. You're trying to make.
I'm going to stop you from speaking now.
Okay, go on. No.
I'm being sarcastic.
Fantastic. You're making an false equivocation. Let me just say it. You're making a false equivocation or a false equivalency between France, a foreign nation, entering Algeria, or England going to South Africa and killing indigenous people in that country, taking their territory, and then me saying, yeah, they should go. No. What happened in this situation, which is what I said at the very beginning, 2 people groups were given land. 2 people groups, both claiming that it's theirs. So they said, you know what, okay, we're going to give this territory to... What's going on? We're going to give this part of the land to Palestine. We're going to give this part of the land to Israel. We're going to give both of them money. What happened at the very beginning? The Arab Allied forces, for some reason, for whatever reason, decided to fight and start trying to stop Israel from having their territory. That is the situation. This is not colonization where one person said the entire society and structure in Israel was fully thriving. No, it was not that. It was people living in very small little tribal towns. It wasn't a very developed place. If you went to Israel 200 years ago, it was a barren wasteland except for Jerusalem. There was nothing there. It's the truth. This is the Ottomans were in control of this territory for 800 years. They didn't build anything. Yet they built Turkey and they made it to... listen.
Please. 198 villages.
Please.
There was nothing there.
Okay, listen,
Please.
wait.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Hold on. Listen.
We'll get there.
Okay, fantastic. Listen,
We'll get there.
that's okay. We can tackle that in a second. When I say nothing there, what I mean is, when you go to the Ottoman Empire, Turkey, it was a fully developed civilization. It was thriving. It had a lot of buildings and infrastructure. Israel was a very small community, and it had both Jews and Arabs and Palestinians there at the same time. All I'm saying is this. The kind of language of colonization is deception. You're literally openly lying on camera by saying Israel just randomly saw these people and said we're going to displace you. No, they were both given territory. They fought over the territory.
Okay,
one side won, another side lost. They expanded their territory, and now we have the situation we have now.
Let's break this.
So what we're not doing. So what we're not doing. No. I'm going to finish your point. Wait, stop. Wait. I'm happy to talk to you.
Whole world economy.
Can we ask the audience, please?
I'm happy to engage with you, but the problem is I'm talking to you, and I'm also talking to my brother here.
Just carry on.
And I'm happy to have that conversation.
Just carry on.
My point is this: do not make a false equivocation, because people do this, and it's deceptive. Okay, the media reporting is so one-sided today.
I agree.
Listen. You have African American people trying to compare their suffering in white America to what's happening in Palestine. It's not the same situation. The Palestinians weren't on cotton fields picking slaves.
Gone on to something else.
No, I'm making a point about false equivocations. You cannot use language like colonization to describe the situation, because that's not what it is. It's conflict between 2 countries. That's what it is.
Palestine's not a country.
Yes, it's a battle. They're fighting each
Palestine
other.
is not a country. It's not.
It's a people. It's
a people.
between 2 nations. It's still a nation.
Let's break this down.
That's what I wanted to say. Go on, you go.
No problem. In 1948,
don't say colonization.
the League of Nations voted to establish the creation of Palestine, of Israel.
Amen. And
Palestine.
And that was one of the greatest days in history. That was one of the greatest days in human history.
No problem,
Absolutely.
Zionist, no problem.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And also, one more thing.
Sam.
From the river to the sea is a provocation.
Finish.
And Hamas sympathy. Don't
Sam.
say those words, from the river to the sea. That's an abomination.
Sam, okay. Now.
Don't say those words.
I challenge all of you here, listening and watching. Google the votes of the League of Nations at that time during the creation of the state of Palestine, proposed Palestine and Israel. You would see that the majority of the members of the League of Nations were from where? We're European.
Amen.
We're European. And many of these European countries had what? Had colonial what? Empires. They were well acquainted with the idea of colonization and taking land by force, also looking at a map and drawing lines on the map and splitting people between people split between lines, tribes between lines, families between lines, Sykes-Picot, etc., etc. The majority of the League of Nations, what I'm saying, were a colonizing-minded European people who were used to doing what they did. It wasn't majority Asian, it wasn't majority African, it wasn't majority South American, it wasn't majority nothing but Europe. Yes, these people who have expertise in colonization and taking people's land are the ones who made that decision. Number two, who gave them the right to do so? Who gives the right to London, Washington, Paris, Berlin, Madrid, and whoever to do this? Who gave them the right to give a land of one people's, to disenfranchise the land of a people? Who gave them the right to do this? Do you know what gave? Let me finish. I know it burns and it hurts, but let me finish. Do you know what gave them? Do you know what gave them the right? Because they were they had colonies at the time and empires at the time. Exactly. I ask you this question. Let me finish. Point number three. Brother Sam said the land was empty. Fallacy.
Did I say those words?
Depopulated.
No.
Say the words.
Did I say?
Say the words.
Did I say?
Exactly. There was nothing there.
Do you want me to say what I say?
Okay. No.
Did I not say that there were people in Israel?
No.
Did I say there was not small villages?
Sam, please.
But as a whole,
Sam,
it was a barren land.
Sam, please.
That's a fact. It's
Guess
a historical
what?
fact. Guess what? You're just a sympathizer, my friend. It's like it's kind of hard to. It actually is. It actually is. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to deal with this level of like self-commiseration and guilt. Like the level of guilt these guys experience living in the West is actually like hard to see.
I challenge the viewers and the people here to bring up the colonial map of the British Mandate of Palestine and see how many Palestinian villages and cities were in what we call today Israel. It was not empty. I say this on my third point to finish. When the Romans came into these lands, the British Isles, we don't need cheerleaders.
Again. Yes.
When the Romans came to these lands and they saw the Britons, let me ask you this question. Was Britain at the time sparsely populated? Yes. Were there villages everywhere? No. Did London exist? No. Did Manchester exist? No. Did Chester exist? No. Why do I say Manchester and Chester? Because the CHETR comes from, which it means the Romans themselves established those cities. That's what Chester means, Manchester. Let me finish. London, which was then Londinium, was founded and built and created by the Romans. Did the Britons think when the Romans came here, there's only a few 100,000 of us in these British Isles? It's not worth fighting for. Let me finish. It's not worth resisting. Let me finish. It's not worth.
30 seconds more.
Let me finish. It's not worth resisting the colonizing of the Romans because why?
It's not a one-sided affair.
We don't have anything equated to the city of Rome. We don't have anything equated to the city of Athens. We don't have anything equated to the city of Carthage, which the Romans destroyed anyway. They didn't think that. They said, this is my land, and I'm not going to vacate my land.
Okay, cool.
So again, your analogies
stop.
are fallacious.
We get it. Do you know what's so fascinating?
I made 3 points.
Do you know what's so fascinating? He's almost kind of presented himself as like anti-colonization. But when we open the annals of history, who took over? Who completely eviscerated the Byzantine Empire in the 14th century and stole the entire region from a kingdom that was there for 1,000 years? Your Muslim people, who went into the entire Islamic world and actually through sword, battle and warfare colonized and established Islamic states across the entire world and took over the ancient Roman Empire. That land was basically in the Persian control, then the Roman control, and then the entire Islamic territory, including your country, Morocco, was colonized by Muslims. Yet now you're trying to be sanctimonious about colonization. What are you talking about? Stop. I'm making a point. Stop. I'm making a point, my friend. Don't interrupt me, man. You're sitting here trying to be sanctimonious about colonization because a European is doing it. But if he has a curved sword that says Allahu Akbar, all of a sudden it's acceptable. It's okay to go into into Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, all of these countries and completely wipe out the leadership and install Islam. You support this. You view this as an act of God. So who are you to sit here and talk about colonization? You have no leg to stand on. It's very easy. Stop. It's very easy to do this thing. Wait, stop. It's very easy to do this thing where they say the white man is colonizing and he's succeeding. There's 2 billion Muslims today speaking, and they all there's such a high level of Arabic content. There's 2 billion now. There's Arabic linguistic understanding across this entire region, which is a sign of colonization. The reason English is the worst widely spread language in the world is because of colonization. Arab colonization has been so successful. The Islam world is now 2 billion. So you have no leg to stand on. The fact is you choose the Palestinian plight, which makes the colonization of Israel evil, but if it was Muslims versus Jews, you would support it. You're a hypocrite. You have no... No, stop talking. Stop talking when I'm thinking. Stop talking when I'm talking so I can finish my point. Stop talking when I'm talking so I can finish my point. The point is, he made this kind of sanctimonious, the indigenous Palestinian, his land was taken, my friend. How many lands were taken by the Arab conquistadors? The Arab conquistadors, the guy that they took entire territories. I'm mixing the terms. They took entire territories, subjugated people who didn't believe in their religion, gave them dhimmi status for generations, like we see in Turkey and Egypt and other places. So you do not have a leg to stand on to try and be sanctimonious here. The fact is, 2 nations were given land, and one nation said we're not happy with the other nation receiving it. They don't even deserve to be a state, and they decided to fight for it. So now what? And here's the crux of what we've been talking about today. So wait, stop. Here's the crux of what we've been talking about. It's this. The central point that that actually started this entire discussion, it's important to understand this, is why do the Arab world, with all of their money today, not assimilate the Palestinians into their territories? But wait, it's easy to say that, my friend.
Twice.
Fantastic.
Just carry on.
But
Just carry on.
These guys have to, it's actually
He's not on mic.
Here's the thing. Your argument is basically, your argument's effectively this: the Palestinians are indigenous to the land, therefore they shouldn't leave their home. Yes, but the Jews have always been there. No. Do you know what makes me laugh? Okay, I'm going to say this. It's called white guilt. It's called white guilt. No. I'm going there right now. No. It's called white guilt. White guilt says.
Stan, stick to the point.
Who is the victim?
Stan.
Who is the perceived oppressor? I need to support the victim, even when they say from the river to the sea. I see white English people shouting from the river to the sea, which is calling for the death and destruction of Jewish people. You are a disgrace, my friend. Don't speak to me. Don't talk to me. You are a disgrace. Do not say a word to me. You're dealing with psychological trauma from your ancestors going around the world and destroying countries. You're dealing with guilt. So don't sit here and talk to me. You ain't got nothing to say, my friend. Don't speak to me. I cannot deal with this level of self-hatred. This guy's a joke, a disgrace, absolute disgrace, my friend. I'm making my point now. You're saying, and I mean that, he is a disgrace. Every single white person who deals with this guilt and shame, go and read a history book. The Jews never left the land. They've always been there. No, I'm not going to touch him. I'm just dealing with this satanically inspired concept. This satanically inspired concept.
Sam, come on, man.
I'm dealing with it. The point is, the Jews, there have always been Jews in the land of Israel since the last 2,000 years. Okay. Even when the temple fell in 70 AD and they were cast away, they always came back to pray next to the Western Wall. This is a historical fact. Palestinians at some point in time inhabited the land. Okay, they both have a claim. The best case scenario, let's just finish here because this guy's got me angry. The best case scenario is either one of 2 options. Palestine receives a state with land and freedom, or mate, seriously.
Oh my goodness,
bro. I'm dealing with it again.
Seriously, you need to stop. Come on, man.
But he's lucky.
Get the conversation.
You know why he's lucky? I'm not militant.
Come on.
I'm angry. I'm annoyed. But I'm not going to touch him. I'm not going to touch him. And that's the reason he's talking, because he knows I'm not going to touch him. Because if I was going to touch him, he wouldn't be this brave right now. I'm telling you.
He's destroying the conversation, man. He's destroying the conversation.
I'm telling you. You don't look like a boxer to me. But yeah, here's the point. The ultimate solution from my perspective is two scenarios. One, Palestine receive a state with liberty. There's no more conflict, there's no more terrorism there. Both sides mourn the losses, accept the fact that evil has happened, and choose the hard road of forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means I'm not going to continue the cycle of violence, because the cycle of violence is generational, meaning each generation has to come and participate in the bloodshed because they're angry, and both sides are justified in doing so. There's another thing I want to say which is unequivocally clear. I don't support the death of a single Palestinian child. There is a difference between Hamas and the everyday Palestinian citizens. What is happening in this conflict is an abomination, it's evil. I don't support that. But I do not support statements such as from the river to the sea. That is calling for the absolute evisceration of the Jewish state, which is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. That's what I'm saying. That statement is a provocation from the river to the sea. You say free Palestine, no problem, I understand. Don't say to the river to the sea. That is a direct call for military action to eviscerate a people from the nation of the world, and that is not what we want. The second solution is either the Arab states assimilate the Palestinians into their territories and give them freedom. I think it's the easier the option of the two. They literally receive liberty, they receive education and a future. We have a direct model of this working in Sweden, Germany, and other Western and Eastern European nations who have assimilated millions, not thousands, millions of Syrian and Afghani refugees, and now they're thriving. They live well, they go to university, they're enjoying their culture and country. And because of the small number of Palestinians being only around 7 to 5 million, somewhere around there, it's something that's very easy to do. And if you don't want to move them to Western, Saudi can cut a check and give them another nation and drop $100 billion. They only take Israel was founded with $100 billion. And then as time goes on, each nation just gives them a couple billion every year. So it's possible to build a nation and just give it to the Palestinians, and then they can have liberty that way. So there's multiple solutions. But the idea that this blood feud, last point, the idea that this blood feud is just going to continue forever, I don't wish that upon anybody. If I was a Gaza citizen and my children was killed, and I was holding the dead body of my mother or my father or my child in my hand, I would be joining ISIS too, so I can't judge them. I can't judge people who've lost their entire families becoming militant soldiers. I can't judge them. Terrorism is something that's created. It's not just a sporadic thing. It's something that's actually created by suffering. That's what I have to say. Long live Israel, and liberty to the Palestinians, not destruction to Israel, liberty, freedom, and a real future. That's what I have to say, my brother. And thank you. Yeah, you can respond. I was going to say thank you for being a good dance partner, because this is a very tense conversation, as you can see with the individual that's suffering over here, who's brave because he knows that I'm not going to touch him. Because he knows.
No, I asked seriously.
Go deal with your psychological white guilt. That's your problem, not mine. That's your problem, not mine.
I mean, that's a joke as well.
There's no point. I'm not trying to say Israel was never inhabited by Jews at all. He's an idiot.
You said
go open the history. Go open the history book, my friend. I'm sorry, you go, bro. I'm sorry.
You're Lithuanian. All the Estonian follow Moses through the desert. That's not white guilt.
I welcome Sam's sympathetic comments towards the Palestinian fighting cause, and I want to echo his words about the killing of civilians on both sides. Right.
He's lucky I'm not
I think, Sam, unfortunately, you keep repeating this false equivocation with the Syrians and the Afghans. Like I said, with the Syrian refugees and Afghani refugees, for example, being in the West and other nations, Syria still exists. Afghanistan still exists. I believe the onus should not be put upon the Arab nations to absorb the Palestinian peoples. This is an international problem created by the international community. It should not be sat upon only the Arab nations to resolve this issue.
So do you support all of them assimilating Palestinians?
You're saying that Arabs...
Do you support the entire international community worldwide assimilating Palestinians?
No.
Then what are you talking about?
What I'm saying is, if you are saying because of the situations and the death and basically the dire situation the Palestinians find themselves in, then by default the Palestinians should be absorbed into the Arab nations, we can. Why are you not here standing saying?
Oh my God.
With the atrocities being met against the Israelis for the last since 48, why don't the Israelis depart?
What do you mean? Why should they depart?
Why should the Palestinians depart? That's my point.
Because they're the ones who are suffering.
That's my point. No.
They have nothing.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. Exactly. That's the point I'm making. Now.
Well, I give you that.
In relation to the Arab or the Muslim conquests of North Africa, or parts of the Middle East, and of parts of Asia, for example. I want to quote this.
Thank you for maintaining your cordiality.
Of course, if you sound no problem.
I'm sorry for
No, I get it. I get it. I want to quote. That's all right, bro. I want to quote this.
You're drinking alcohol, don't provoke him.
Okay. The difference is this.
No, go and drink alcohol in a rum shop.
The difference is,
Go in the pub.
for example, Constantinople. When the Sultan Mehmed entered Constantinople and conquered Constantinople, he gave freedom of religion, freedom of movement to the inhabitants, them being Christian, Greek or Jews or alike or whatnot. They were not forcibly removed from their homes.
Yeah, we don't support that.
Unfortunately, the time when some Greeks left what is now modern-day Turkey is after the Turkish-Greek War in 1924, where there was an agreement between the international community, but namely Greece themselves, namely the Republic of Turkey themselves, where there was a population exchange of the Turks of the Greeks to Greece and the Turks from Greece to Turkey. Okay, it was a population exchange like with India and Pakistan after the British Raj. Okay, that was not the situation in Israel. It was completely different.
Of course.
Completely different. When my ancestors came into Morocco, the Berbers, the Amazigh, did not flee to Spain or south to Mauritania or to anywhere. They stood put. They fought a ferocious war, 3 major wars. One of the longest conquests that the Muslims took was of North Africa. But they stayed, they kept their land, and they eventually assimilated. There was no Gaza West Bank, there was no nothing. You Berbers, Amazigh, have to stay in Tangiers or Marrakesh didn't exist, or to Marrakesh only. Or you can only stay here, or you can only stay in Fez, or you can only stay in modern day Casablanca. They didn't do that. They stayed in their lands as a population. So there's a difference. You can't equate that to that. Thirdly, let me finish. Thirdly, you said Islamic wars conquering lands. Yes. You said a Saracen curved sword, if that's the case, shouting Allah Akbar, then it is okay. You said this. You said this. I believe Sam's understanding of the creation and the existence of Israel is solely from a biblical religious point of view. You hypocrites! You point the finger at me, but yet you look at your own scripture to justify the state of Israel. Do you? Yes, you do. You do. Do you want to finish?
And white guilt is a form of Christian guilt. White guilt came from Christianity.
It wasn't based on scripture. I didn't quote the Bible once. Any of the things I said. All I said. I didn't quote the Bible. Wait, excuse me. Only thing, wait.
Paul, who are you speaking to? I mean, Sam, who are you speaking to?
When I said Israel belongs to the Jews, that's a biblical statement. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
So I acknowledge that.
Are they chosen people?
Yes, I was there.
Who chose them?
Oh my God.
And what land did he give the chosen people? Israel.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm not trying to say that's the case. But what I'm trying to illustrate is my entire analysis of everything was purely just based on the historical events that happened. 2 nations were given land, and I gave, in my perspective, legitimate solutions. But I understand your perspective. I do understand. They feel, irrespective of how I feel, they feel that it's their land, or that particular part is their land, and they don't want to leave their home, so I understand it. And that's a factor that we do have to consider, so I can acknowledge that. I'm happy, I enjoyed the discussion. I'm sorry for the hostility at certain points with the crowd, but for the most part, I'm happy that I can speak to Idris about a very, very controversial topic with peace and grace and a genuine sense of respect.
Thank you. I got a message to the Palestinians. Oh, Palestinians, by you standing on that 7 square inch piece of land, you are resisting. Oh, Palestinians, by you breathing and being alive, you are resisting. Do not flee your homes. Stay put.
No.
We finish. Do not enter Egypt, because it will be another exodus. Stay put. By you having children, you are resisting. By you passing on your religion and your culture and your language, you are resisting. Keep resisting in these manners.
The statement that they shouldn't leave their homes when missiles are actually going to be dropped is a very controversial statement.
Generally.
No, but we need to be clear.
Don't leave Gaza.
That's different.
Don't leave the West Bank.
That's a different statement. That's a different statement from saying don't leave your homes when we know missiles are literally about to be dropped in the territory. But you clarify. No, you clarify.
Who's dropping the missiles?
Israel. It's going to happen. I'm trying to clarify the situation. Who's firing missiles into Israel? So what's the point? The point is, I do agree in part with what he said about, I understand and accept his approach and analysis to the legitimacy and the sentiment that the Gazan people feel that it's actually their home and they don't want to go to another country, they want to experience liberty on their land. I do appreciate that perspective, and I feel like that's kind of given me an angle that I didn't think about before. And I think that's valuable. Despite this quite heated conversation, I think that was an angle that I didn't fully,
So I will speak again as we always do.
As always, bro. Big respect to Idris.
Likewise.
Big respect.
Assalamu alaikum.
Everyone take it. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, I wasn't going to touch that. Good debate. That guy was annoying me, bro.
Israelites will return to take down Islam.